From a remote corner of southwest Georgia, there's a farmer in charge of a revolution. Will Harris owns White Oak Pastures, an organic farm producing vegetables and grass-fed meat that's been called America's grandest experiment in the deindustrialization of agriculture.
We can feed the world the way I farm.
Harris has drawn up a bold blueprint that, if successful, will take White Oak Pastures where no other farm has gone. The operation is already one of the most successful organic suppliers in the nation. But Harris wants more. Not more money. He wants more mission.
White Oak Pastures is different from other farms in that we have a high purpose. Prior to our becoming a more humane, sustainable kind of operation, it was all about how many pounds of beef I could squeeze out of this farm at the lowest possible price. And as we started evolving, I just quit thinking of it that way, but I didn't realize I had. And today, all I think about is this land and these animals and these people.
To repair the soil abused by decades of industrial pesticides and chemical fertilizers, Harris has transformed his pastures into an American version of the African Serengeti Plains, where many different species mingle in the same fields, each complementing the other.
The Serengeti Plains of Africa is a marvelous ecosystem. You've got a natural rotation of grazing going on, which is nature's way of mixing things up. We try to emulate that here by using large ruminants, cattle, followed by small ruminants, sheep and goats, followed by birds, chickens, turkeys, guineas, geese. What's a weed for one is feed for the other.
Harris believes a big part of his mission is to farm without waste. And with his own slaughterhouses for cattle and poultry, there are lots of leftover bones and guts and fat and feathers to deal with. Harris is obsessed with finding innovative ways to use it, all of it, even the disgusting parts.
Several things going on in this area right here. Mary Bruce and Tommy Owens are making biodiesel out of the fat from the cutting room floor. This is an anaerobic digester, which is making liquid organic fertilizer out of the blood. These guys right here are grinding up bones, feathers, eviscerate, and gut fill from the cutting room to make compost. It's a zero waste facility.
Harris's people use leftover fat to make candles and soap, and the hides to make rugs, chew toys, and baby booties. Perhaps the most unusual initiative is to grow the larvae of black soldier flies by feeding them leftover animal guts.
We collect eggs from black soldier flies, hatch the eggs into neonates, which is tiny little worms, then feed the worms the packing plant waste, eviscerate, gut fill, then feed the larvae to the chickens. And the chickens love the larvae, and it's also very good for them.
And if White Oak Pastures succeeds, it'll be thanks to the young people who have flocked here to help Harris run it. More than 100 of them at last count, including 2 of his daughters.
The mission of White Oak Pastures is something that's emotional. You can't really describe it. You have to feel it. Respect. I would say that the root of it is respect and discipline. Whether it's for the environment or for the animals or for each other, at the root of everything is respect.
My heart is drawn to here. I packed up everything and left in 2 weeks to be here. This place draws people in for its mission.
A mission that includes lots of work, caring for plants and animals that never take a day off.
We've got about 1,400 birds in here. So these birds will stay inside here from day 1 until week 4. Then we'll simply open up the back and then move them out to a set of houses out on pasture.
How many you got in here, Dan?
Got roughly 1,000 birds in here.
So our goal is to get the birds out on the grass and into the pasture. That's where they can eat the grass and the bugs and do what nature intended chickens to do.
We get about 6,000 to 7,000 eggs a day. We look for anything that's floating around inside the egg, any broken shells on the inside or the outside. They then go through the machine, they get washed and dried, sorted, packaged, and then shipped off.
So what these eggs are is cracked or broken eggs that are not sellable as human food. So we bring those in, feed them to the hogs as a protein source. So it cuts feed costs and also gets rid of, broken eggs that are not sellable.
Sheep are about the hardest animal in the world to contain. Sometimes they'll end up where we don't intend for them to be. What the cattle eat, the sheep don't get to. What the sheep eat, the cattle don't prefer. It's a symbiotic relationship where they're able to really take care of each other.
These little baby goats, they don't know how to act.
Goats are a great complementary species for the cattle and the sheep and everything else. All this scrubby stuff, they'll go in and eat the plants that cows wouldn't eat or that the sheep wouldn't eat.
We grow over 80 types of vegetables. Our main outlet is community-supported agriculture, or CSA. Basically, people buy a vegetable subscription and we supply them with a box every week, as well as a couple restaurants and wholesalers.
The birds get brought to the plant around 6:30 in the morning. We have 2 people back there that slaughter the chickens. They're dunked 10 to 12 times to loosen the feathers up. Then they're transferred from the scalder to the plucker. They get put through the processing room. They are then put to the evisceration table where their internal organs are taken out and then placed in the chill bins and ready for processing after that.
So this is the cows that were slaughtered yesterday. They're being brought out right here. We are breaking down the carcasses from yesterday. They're being rolled into this room and broke down into subprimals and trim to then go to the ground beef room.
From when the meat gets in the room, it goes to a loafer grinder. Off of that, it goes onto our roll stock. From the roll stock, it goes to our metal detector. From the metal detector, it goes to our labeler. Then from the labeler, it's going on the table, going in a box. That's about it.
The farm has pulled in people from all over the world, toting degrees from places like Harvard and Cornell, attracted by Will Harris's mission to treat the animals, the land, and each other humanely.